I see Venkat Prabhu, Siddharth Prabhu, Anna ji, Tejal Mata ji, very nice. Few devotees could not join today. That's fine. So we were discussing the verse 8 to 12, which describes what is the true knowledge. What is that absolute? What is the true knowledge as per Bhagavad Gita, as per Lord Krishna? This is very important for all of us to know, right? So let me just quickly share the screen. So last class, I think we discussed about the humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity. I think till these aspects we discussed, right? Krishna gives 20 items here, which are the true knowledge. Like, and he says, I declare all this to be knowledge. Anything which is outside this is simply ignorance. Okay, so this is the items or knowledge. This is basically the knowledge because by practicing this one eternally reaches to the state, one eternally revives his relationship with the Lord, and one gets the knowledge about the absolute truth, and also one is able to practice devotion service to the Lord. Now one item amongst this is very, it's like a jewel amongst all these 19 items. So if that one item is not present or not practiced, then all 19 items are waste. But if one can practice that one item amongst this 20, all 19 items automatically develop in that person. Okay. And what is that one item? It is here. Let me just show you what is that item. Where is this? Here. Constant and unalloyed devotion to me. Very important item. So it has to be constant. It's not constant meaning it had to be constant, like eternal, like it should continue. Devotion is something which Krishna is saying it should be constant, not that today you are praying and then for next 1 week not, and then again no. And unalloyed means it should not be mixed with any other things. Unalloyed, pure, right? Alloyed is meaning impure. Unalloyed, it should be pure devotion to me with no other motivation. Unalloyed devotion. So Prabhupada says that in the purport, if one can have constant and unalloyed devotion to Lord Krishna, which means basically he's able to practice bhakti yoga devotional service, then all other 19 items will automatically develop. One does not have to separately endeavor to develop all those 19 items. But if this one item is missing, and then even if you have other 19 items, it's of no use. Okay. Prabhupada very clearly mentioned in the purport. I'll show you where it is. It's a big purport. Somewhere here. Where is it? Yeah, here something is there. All the good qualities of knowledge develop in one who has attained the stage of devotional service. Principle of accepting a spiritual master is essential even for one who takes to spiritual devotional service. It is very important. That's one place where it says this is very important. So any questions from anyone before we start? So last time we discussed about the humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity. and maybe I think approaching a bona fide spiritual master. So, any questions? Okay. Okay, so approaching a bona fide spiritual master is another key item here, because bona fide spiritual master or guru is a representative of Lord Krishna. And once he bestows his blessings upon the disciple, that makes the disciple immediately advanced in the process of devotion service. Imagine like you yourself are trying to achieve something, but then if you get the mercy and blessings and direction from an expert person who has already achieved that stage, who already knows the do's and don'ts, who are already walked that path and already have achieved self-realization, then it becomes much more faster for the disciple or for someone to progress, right? That is why a spiritual master is required. Other second point, a spiritual master is a medium. Medium of what? Medium between the living entity and the Supreme Lord Krishna. Because we are so fallen, we cannot directly approach Supreme Lord Krishna. So we need a medium. Just like if you want to, let's say, go and meet the President of United States or even the Prime Minister of Canada, you cannot simply just go in his office and say, oh, I want to meet. No, you have to go through a proper channel, through a medium. You have to see who is taking care of his schedule, and then ask that person, book a appointment for you. Like, you have to go through medium and then show up on a specific time, and this is just similarly, if this is applicable in material world, in spiritual this is much more applicable. One cannot directly approach Lord Krishna just like that. One has to go through the chain of Guru Parampara, and the Guru, being the representative of Krishna, connects the disciple to that chain. Okay, that's why Guru is very important. The spiritual master is very important because he is a medium. Through the Guru, through the medium of Guru, whatever service we do, Guru takes it to his previous Guru, his Guru, his Guru, his Guru. All the way it goes through the Guru Parampara, and ultimately the service reaches to Srimati Radharani, who offers it to Lord Krishna. That is how it works. And same, the mercy from Krishna comes through that medium only. Through Radharani, through all the Sakhis, through the Guru Parampara, all the way to the Guru Parampara, and then it reaches to us. So imagine if there is no medium, then how will we receive the blessings and how will we be able to perform any service? Not possible, right? So that is why accepting a spiritual master is essential, because without the instruction of a bona fide spiritual master, one cannot progress in this spiritual science, right? It's like taking an admission to a university, taking an admission into a school, right? So first you have to enroll. You cannot expect that you buy all the books of, let's say someone wants to do engineering. You can simply buy the books of engineering and study yourself and think you will become an engineer. No, you have to properly go through a university, or university which is approved, which is authorized for that course, and enroll yourself and then go through that process. Similarly, this is a process where one has to approach a spiritual master, go through the process, and then the full benefit will happen. Okay, any questions on this part? This is very important to understand that to progress in spiritual life, one should have a spiritual master who is also physically present so that he can guide the disciple on this path. If not, let's go to next. Next is cleanliness. Cleanliness is also very essential for making advancement in spiritual life. And there are two kinds of cleanliness, external and internal. External means keeping our body clean externally. And internal cleanliness means keeping our consciousness clean. So this, when we chant this Hare Krishna mantra, it cleanses our heart with all the contamination. That is why this process, you see, Prabhupada says, this process cleans the accumulated dust of past karma from the mind. So our mind, intelligence, false ego, which makes our subtle body, right? has been going on. The subtle body is not changing when we change the body. We mean soul change the body. Soul, along with the subtle body, goes into the next body, goes into the next body, goes in like that. So, in the past, we would have taken millions and billions of birth, but our mind intelligence is same. So it is carrying the impression from all the previous births. So many desires may be happening, which some of them may be fulfilled, some of them not fulfilled. All that impressions are there in our mind, right? So, and also there is so much dust accumulated from past karma, good, bad. All that has to be cleansed. So that is the internal cleanliness. Because uh, until we purify our our consciousness, we will not be able to enjoy fully, or we will not be able to uh, get the taste for devotional service. The devotional service itself is very, very sweet, but because we are afflicted with this disease of Maya, because of our past impressions, we are not able to fully relish. And Prabhupada gives very nice analogy, like if someone is having a jaundice disease, even if you give him very delicious sweet rasgulla or halwa, it will taste bitter to him because he has a jaundice, right? He cannot appreciate or enjoy or relish. Same is our case. We are afflicted with the jaundice of avidya, and that is the reason this Hare Krishna. When we start chanting Hare Krishna mantra, our mind does not relish that. It goes away. It wants to escape. It wants to run away. It tries to resist, because by doing that we are cleaning our mind of all this anarthas or past dust which is settled. And when there is so much dust settled, let's say there is a water, there is so much dust there, when you try to unsettle or shake, the dust comes up, right? And it comes to the surface. And then if you keep pouring, let's say you start pouring in the muddy water, the pure water, automatically the muddy water will come out, and stage will come when only the pure water will remain. That is what is happening right now. Cleansing process is happening when we chant this Hare Krishna mantra, or we chant the names of the Lord, Nam Kirtan. So Nam, the names have that potency that it can cleanse everything from our past karmas, the dust of past karma. That is why this is so essential. Without chanting the names of Lord, it's not possible to make any progress in spiritual life. It's that essential. That someone may think I can do worship, I can do this, I can do that, but if one is not doing the chanting, no matter what he does, he will not be able to achieve the perfection in this stage and not be able to make progress. So chanting is the essential. Prabhupada always says to chant your rounds without fail every day. That is also one of the vows, initiation vows, that one takes, that he will chant every day without fail. Right. So that is the internal cleanliness. Now there is external cleanliness also, which is taking bath every day. One has to take bath, no excuse. Not that today is very cold or this that, or today not feeling. Sometimes people are lazy in this age of Kali Yuga. People are not very concerned about the bath. Sometimes people just get up and just they go to the kitchen or the breakfast table and starts eating without taking bath. This is all animal kind of behavior. This is all pashu, which are like the see animal. As soon as he gets up morning, he starts searching for food. Where is food? So we are humans. We are given this body. We have to first clean our body in the morning. In unclean state, if our body is not clean externally, then our consciousness will become polluted. Our consciousness will be unclean, and in that consciousness, how can we absorb anything which is transcendental, right? It's required to clean our body every day. So one has to take bath every day in the morning, and it's recommended twice a day at least for those who are initiated. One in the morning, one in the evening. Take bath. Okay, and there are more, like those who are really, like, we have to teach our children also the importance of taking bath in the morning. Not that they just eat without taking bath. First take bath nicely and then pray, maybe one round, two round for children, and then they can honor the prasad. That is the way. Other thing to note is that today cleanliness, as I told, has become like people don't think that artificially they want to look beautiful, they want to put perfumes and whatnot and cosmetics and all, but that is not cleanliness. Like if let's say one goes to washroom, right, and so there is also the, what you call, the achar meaning the behavior or the expect or cleanliness aspect of it when one uses the washroom, right? So one has to at least, do you want to know what one has to do when the goes uses the washroom?
Yeah, sure, Prabhu.
Yeah, okay. So I'll tell you that. So when one uses the washroom, no matter uh, uh, like if it is in the morning, uh, for passing the stool, for example, two things which one happen. One is one passes the stool and one is passing the urine. Now, passing the stool, one has to compulsorily take shower or bath. One is not considered clean if one just passes the stool and comes out by just washing the hands with soap and just doing his other task. No, he's contaminated. One has to take a bath. Now, it not necessarily that one has to take full bath where you have to apply soap all over the body, all or soak your hair. No, you can just by putting the water on your body, maybe little, you become purified. But one has to take bath. That is the standard. That is how you become clean. Otherwise, no matter you artificially sprinkle perfume or wear nice clothes, do whatever you want, you are still considered unclean. And in that state, one cannot at least approach or do the deity worship. And whatever he touches also becomes contaminated or unclean. So all these aspects are taught when one accepts the Brahmin uh, initiation. But these are important to know because one of the reasons why today youth or why people are not able to follow or not appreciate, because they are unclean from outside, and they, because of that uncleanliness, their minds are also unclean and it's not pure, and because of that these things does not go inside the mind. So if you have to, every day everyone has to do this morning job, right? So after that one has to take bath. Now if you have to use washroom sometime in, let's say, afternoon or evening also, before even you come out of washroom, take bath, and then it just takes 3 minutes, 4 minutes to just put water on your body. And then there is also mantra. If you want, if one can chant with the mantra invoking to purification, and then one can take. That is the standard for this thing. And other thing is, for this is for Prabhu's, like, uh, basically when one is like, I know today these days people consider their washroom like as their rooms. They take all kinds of things inside that, like mobile phone and whatnot, and right, or consider everything becomes contaminated. So one should not take mobile phones inside washroom. You can leave your mobile phone outside at least for that period where you are inside. Don't take mobile phone. That everything becomes contaminated. Even your clothes become contaminated. So ideal thing is the clothes, use minimal clothes when you are going using the washroom and immediately put them for washing. Don't again wear the same clothes again, and then because they become contact, or keep separate clothes. Just some people do that also, just separate minimal number of clothes which they use to do that job, right? But not that you keep wearing the same clothes all over again, because that is the standard, that is the higher standard. And clothes also become contaminated, they had to go for in directly for in washing, for washing purpose. Okay, so that's about the cleanliness. Now next comes when someone passes the urination, because urine you have to go multiple times in a day, right? So what is the expected win? So obviously you go, then you wash his hand, but then also you do at least 3 times what you call take water in the mouth and then put it outside. So 3 to 4 times, and then sprinkle some water on your feet. Then you are pure. Then you are not contaminated. So 3 things to be done for when one passes urine is wash the hand, take water in the mouth 3 4 times, and put it out, and then put some water on your feet also. That makes you clean. Same thing when we have um, when we take prasad. It's a normal custom to wash hands because we are taking food from hand, but not just wash hand. Again, put the water in mouth 2 times 3 times, put it out, and then sprinkle some water on your feet. That makes you clean. That is the normal. That is how our ancestors were leading the life of cleanliness. If you see, before they go to even if you go to the temple, there was a water there. And you wash your hands, you wash your feet, you wash your face, make it clean. And then inside the temple, that is the standard cleanliness. Understood? So this is how, if you want, you can start practicing, if not doing already, and then start teaching this to kids also. It doesn't take much time, like to do these things, but it makes one clean externally, and it makes one clean internally, and it makes your consciousness clean, pure, and with that one will be easily able to understand the spiritual concepts. Any questions on this cleanliness?
Probably wearing the clothes also
Hmm?
like cloths, right? So like we should like mostly do one day or 1 day or 2 days. So we should not take the clothes to the washroom. You're saying?
Yeah. Ideally, wear minimal clothes or keep a set of clothes to the which you can use for the washroom, but don't wear them after. Either put it for washing or keep them aside. That is the thing. Because the thing is, as I was saying, this is particularly for the stool. When you pass the stool, whatever is there with you all become contaminated. Now, clothes also. Ideally, those should go directly to the water for washing, and then come out and then wear the next set of clothes, the new ones, like the fresh ones. Yeah.
Okay, Prabhu.
Huh?
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. Okay, so let's go to next one, which is steadfast, steadiness. Steadiness is something which is one should be determined to make progress. With determination, one can progress. One can make tangible progress. If there is no determination, one cannot make tangible progress. Steadiness is meaning remaining steady in this path. Not that one takes to this process of devotional service, but then goes down, sometimes not do. For example, chanting, remain steady. Whatever number of rounds one is chanting, remain steady. You're chanting 4 rounds, every day chant 4 rounds. Like it's easy, like 4 rounds, 5 rounds. Devotees, the higher goal is to, Prabhupada actually recommended that everyone should chant 16 rounds, right? But to reach to that 16 rounds, one can start with somewhere 2 rounds, 3 rounds, and then eventually uh, reach the 16 rounds eventually. But steadiness is something which is required in any endeavor, even in material endeavor. Steadiness is required, practice is required. And then comes self-control. Self-control means that one should not accept anything which is detrimental to the path of spiritual progress. This is also the second principle of Sharanagati. Reject everything what is not favorable for progressing in spiritual life. And first principle is accept everything which is favorable for progress in spiritual life. I think I've told even before also in many classes, these two principles should be the guiding principles for our life. All the things which we do in life, these two principles should be our guiding principles. Because this human life, the main goal is for human life is to achieve the love for the Lord and to revive our relationship, to perform devotional service. This is the main goal. Now, whatever is favorable for that goal, accept it. Whatever is unfavorable for that goal, don't accept it, reject it. Right? No matter someone is ready to tomorrow give you millions of dollars, but he says, I need all your 24 hours. One should not take that. Like, let's say tomorrow someone comes, okay, I will give you $2 billion, but for next 1 month, you're gonna be 100% working for me. No other thing, no other chanting, nothing. We should not accept, no matter he's giving me millions of dollars. No. Why I should do that? Because that millions of dollars will be of no use once I leave my body. Right? So the currency which is used, and I think yesterday mentioning, currency which is used after we leave our body is how much Harinam, how much names we have acquired. And once we have that currency, we will be respected everywhere in the whole universe. Not just here, everywhere. Even if you go to any planet, anywhere, you will be given the due honor, respect. Even Yamraj, who is the chief, who is given this task, who is the devotee of the Lord, cannot touch a person. He will also bow down before that person who has taken the names of the Lord throughout his life. He does not have any right to even punish that person. That is the power of holy name. One becomes immune to all the immune to any punishment or anything. Like one is it's all auspicious, right? So self-control is very important. That one should always keep accepting the things which are favorable and not worry about material things too much, because one has to have firm faith. Whatever is there for me materially, whatever is there in my quota, no matter what happens, I will get it. Like nobody asks for any dukh, right? Sorrow. But the dukh also comes automatically. Nobody asks. Similarly, the sukh, the happiness also comes. So-called material happiness automatically comes in everyone's life. And those who are devotees, they understand this concept, and that's why they are not worried, and they are equipoised in both happiness and distress, because they know this is part and parcel of material life, and the focus should be on making the progress on spiritual life. Okay, so self-control also, we think Prabhupada right, one should become accustomed to this and reject anything which is against the path of spiritual progress. This is real renunciation. One should value this devotee association. One should value his going to the temple. See, we are only able to go to the temple once a week for 3-4 hours. Now, if something can prevent even that, makes that, let's say something, now we should consider ourselves fortunate that we are able to go to the temple once a week, right? In Prabhupada time, people used to live in the temple 24 hours. So from 7 days, it has already reduced to once a week. Now, if some situation in life happens where we have options, okay, that we are going away from devotee association, going away from temple, like this, there are situations, Maya can give you allurement, okay, some big job is there which is taking you away, or you get some big house or anything, any situation which takes you away from devotees and takes you away from temple, that is like not favorable for the bhakti. So one should avoid that, falling into that trap, right? Because once we go to the temple, whatever we do in the temple is all service. So 3 hours in the temple every day, every week, consider you are doing 3 hours of service. From the time you step into the temple to you're doing all service, your consciousness is all in that time transcendental. You're not feeling or thinking about worldly affairs when you are in the temple. And for that matter, in this class also, this is also a service, right? When you are listening about Krishna Katha, about this, all the worries of the material world are not able to enter your mind. They are standing outside. So that is the nature of Krishna Katha. So one should value this, because this is something which has come to us not automatically. This has come to us by our good fortune, by our previous karmas, but we always have free will to uh, to choose our paths. And if we think situation comes in life which takes us away from service, reduces our service, takes us away from the devotees association, then one should reject that, no matter how much material benefit one may gain, but it's of no use. That is the other thing about this self-control, that one should remain engaged. Okay, then comes false ego. False ego is basically it's it's accepting the body as oneself and then making decisions on that level. Everyone understands that we are the soul, we are not this body. But understanding is one thing, but realizing that and putting into the practice is second thing, right? So when one understands that he is not his body and spirit soul, and he comes to his real ego, meaning when he becomes and puts it in practice that he is a subservient to the Supreme Lord, and his one should be, that is the real ego. So false ego is condemned, but real ego is not condemned. Okay, real ego is what we should be situated, and we should realize. Okay, the false ego is making decisions at the bodily level, considering body as oneself. Okay, this may be beneficial for my body, but if it is not beneficial for my soul, then one should not do that thing, right? So that is what it is. So false ego, the fact that anyone and everyone who is present in this material world, because they are present here, meaning they have certain degree of false ego. Otherwise, when this false ego becomes zero, one goes back to the spiritual world and gets the real ego. So the fact that we are still here in the material world shows that all of us have false ego. Some may have higher degree of false ego, some may have lower degree, some may have medium degree, but everyone has false ego. Okay, and this is the ego which basically gets hurt, or like sometimes you say like this person is too egoistic. He has so much ego. He can easily get agitated. The moment you say something, you say his ego has hurt, and he immediately reacts and retaliates back. Right? So that means that person has thick false ego. He is easily agitated just on a slight pretext. And someone may be having very less false ego. He will not get agitated so easily. Even if you say something rude to him, he may be not reacting. And someone who has no false ego, like sometimes there are personalities who are not from this world, like, or who have reached a perfection. No matter what you tell them, or how you abuse, or even you say bad words, they are not reacting. They think this person is innocent. He's like not knowing what he's doing. They don't care. So that is the thing. Okay. So any questions so far? I hope you are able to understand, right?
Prabhuji, I have one
Yes.
question.
Yes.
So, Prabhuji, if someone does it on purpose, like by all means, they read your mindset, but we are not like that. But on purpose, some people they do to try to uh, not hurt your ego, but try to hurt your feelings. Then how would you uh, control your feelings? How one should react? How one should think in their mind? Please, can you help with that?
Yeah. So I mentioned, yeah. So good way would be to disengage with those persons, like not try to get into the too much arguments. Just walk away from there, or just don't entertain those kind of people. They are like simply nuisance to the society, and sometimes it's better not to have a relationship and keeping a distance from these people. So that is the intelligent way of handling these kind of people. Okay, not reacting.
Okay,
Because
Prabhuji.
I don't know if you have seen that there was one nice movie also about this, the Munna Bhaiwal. People, the guy used to uh, spit on the door, like purposefully. The neighbor used to come and every day used to spit and this person was just come open the door, smile nicely, and he will clean it. So he did it 3, 4 times, 10 times, 9 times. Then he realized there is no impact happening on this person. He's not getting agitated. He's not getting irritated. And he stopped doing it. So now these people sometimes they want some reaction so that they can further like react, and then they want to. But if you don't react, then they will just stop it doing it. So keeping your life simple and then not indulge with these people, these kind of people. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also told us that asat sanga tyaga ei vaishnavachar, meaning asat sanga meaning the sangha, the association which is not beneficial for us to progress in spiritual life. We should just leave it. Leave the association of those kind of people. Don't invite them to your home. Don't go to their home. Don't meet them. Don't call them. That's it. Now, and if I would not assume like someone not knowing you or not having relationship will try to say something to you, right? That if someone does that, that means he's insane. Then anyway, we don't have to worry about any person who is insane.
Same thing
So,
it goes with the strangers also, right, Prabhuji? They just come
exactly.
and disappear. Okay, thank you so much,
Exactly.
Prabhuji.
So something who comes and disappear, we don't have to bother about it. We don't have to react
Okay,
to what they are saying. Let them just, and then if we don't react, there's nothing more to for them to they won't do it second time, third time.
okay, sure, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's where tolerance comes. So tolerance is a great attribute, and it's part of knowledge. It's part of here. In those situations, one has to tolerate this and then just move on and don't react. If someone is purposefully trying to hurt you or doing something, yeah. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. Understood. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll it's 11:52, and there are not many people. I think today we are missing Hemant Prabhu and that Deepti Mataji and one more. Pulkit Prabhu has gone to. So should we continue on discussing this verse, or should we discuss now the pastimes from Raja? What do you want to do? I'm whatever you want, we can do that.
So, what is true knowledge?
So pure knowledge is the knowledge which makes us advance on the spiritual path. That is pure knowledge.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you.
The knowledge about the Supreme Lord, the knowledge about the soul, knowledge about all these aspects, which like humility, which we are discussing. This is pure knowledge. This is true knowledge. Okay.
Thank you.
The knowledge which we receive in the college, the material knowledge, that is not true knowledge. That knowledge is only there for us to make our living. I don't think I won't say that knowledge is not required. That is also required so that we can have a living, we can earn. But that is not true knowledge, because that cannot take one, that cannot fulfill the goal of human life, which is to achieve the love of the Lord Krishna, love of God, and which is to get out of the cycle of birth and death. For that, this true knowledge is required, which is the knowledge of absolute truth about the Lord Krishna, how one can engage himself in the service of Lord Krishna. All this is true knowledge, is real knowledge. And Krishna says one has that do not need to worry whether one will make enough progress to progress in this path, because any little progress which we made in this path is eternal. Eternal means eternal. Nobody is gonna take away that from you. However, any progress which we make on material path is temporary. It only remains for us for this life. The moment we leave this world, whatever we have materially remains here. Our big degrees, our house, our family, our bank balance, everything, our car, all friends, everyone will remain here only. Nobody can go with us. Only thing which goes with us is this true knowledge, true things, which is devotional service, because that is eternal. Imagine like you have this big glass, and every day you try to fill it with some one drop of water, but ultimately it will get fully filled. right? Same is the case. We are trying to fill our spiritual, spiritual service by doing little service every day. Ultimately, it becomes full and we become fully pure. And then we will directly face Lord Krishna face to face. And we'll achieve to our true identity, true spiritual identity in the spiritual world. So all that knowledge is there in Bhagavad Gita. How one can practice that. That's why this Bhagavad Gita is the book of true knowledge, like real knowledge. And the books which we read in the college or university are for temporary knowledge, because this they teaches us about how to make a living, right, by doing a job, certain aspect of material things. An intelligent person would be that who connects his material knowledge also in the service of Lord. Then his life becomes fully spiritual. Whatever abilities Lord has given us, somehow or the other use it in the service of Lord or his devotees, then that becomes the perfection of the life. Okay, so let's continue. Maybe I think when next time more devotees would be there, we can discuss that pastimes. So let me just continue on this further. Okay, so where we were? Yeah, we discussed about false ego. Then let me see what is further. The perception of evil of birth and death and old age and disease. So one should be aware, and that this, why it's called evil, because this birth, age, death, old age and disease are the real problems of this material world. Nobody wants to die, but everyone has to die. Nobody wants old age, nobody wants disease, but we know based on experience, based on how people, those who are already in old age, how difficult it is. Prabhupada used to say, old age, actually, everyone is old. When we celebrate birthday, we say this person has become 9 years old, right? 10 years old. So everyone is old. There is no age at which one can guarantee that this person will live. Like we are seeing people are going from this world at age of 30, 20, 40. Some are able to live. So everyone is old to go. The moment you take birth, anytime and every time anyone can go. But the real old age, which is cause of where a lot of pain and discomfort happens in the body, kicks in at the age of 70. After the age of 70, one will feel the effect of old age, meaning he will feel that his senses are becoming less working, like he will not be able to hear properly, or he will feel less energy. So that's the old age. But everyone is old enough to leave this world anytime. That is not in our hand. It is in the hands of how much time it is given for us to be here. There is a purpose given. And same goes for disease. Disease also can happen to anyone and anyone. Some have minor diseases, sometimes happen, sometimes life-threatening diseases like cancer and all that. These are the evil. So one has to understand that this is the perception of evil of birth, death, old age, disease. Because once one understands this is the evil, this is not required, then only one can come to the solution. What is the solution for these problems? Right? First, problem statement should be clear, then only solution comes. If one thinks there is no problem, then he will never look for any solution. So intelligent person knows about this birth, death, old age, disease are the problems of the material world. And then it needs to be solved by following the spiritual path. Okay. Prabhupada says that it should be thoroughly understood that birth is distressful. Like we make a lot of celebration when someone gives a birth and a new child comes into the family, but the child has gone through a lot of suffering. He cannot speak at that moment to tell about that suffering, but he has gone through a lot of suffering, and it's all described in Srimad Bhagavatam how the child stays in the womb in the mother, and he's suffering, literally suffering, and he prays to the Lord, please take me out, and I will promise you that I will practice devotional service in this lifetime. Please take me out, please help. And then he comes out. The moment he comes out, with the effect of Maya, he again forgets everything, whatever happened to him, right? So Prabhupada says, because we do forget how much distress we have suffered within the womb of mother, we do not make any solution to the repetition of birth and death, because we have forgetful. If someone remembers how much suffering he would have had, he will not dare, he will not dare to repeat it again. Like, he will not want to go through that same thing again. And similarly, at the time of death, there are all kinds of suffering, and they are also mentioned in scriptures. So this should be discussed. One should know that there is a suffering involved in birth and death. Old age disease, we anyway know. Old age, we see people around us. Disease also we experience. And that's why Prabhupada says, as far as disease and old age are concerned, everyone gets practical experience. So they know this is not required. But birth, death, people forget. And this is because of the nature. The nature makes you forget everything, what happens. As soon as one take birth, comes out of the womb and be in the material world, he forgets all previous memory, forgets. Like, nature does that. Like, and someone same at the time of death, as soon as one dies, he's feeling so much pain, so much this thing, but he's not able to say to anyone, because his what you call, the voice is choked, and so much problems are happening in his body. Can't say, but this is all suffering. Okay, so one should be aware about this suffering, and then only he will find a path to end this suffering. Okay, so that's why Prabhupada said, unless we have a pessimistic view of this material life, considering the distress of birth, old age, disease, there is no impetus for us making progress in spiritual life, right? Because unless we are settled here, like if we are settled here in material life and thinking, oh, everything is good, I have best time or all that, doesn't know how much suffering has been happening to us, then there is no impetus, no inspiration to make advancement in spiritual life. And then next comes the freedom from entanglement with children, wife, home, and rest. So one should not think. Prabhupada very clearly lights detachment from children, wife, and home. It doesn't mean that one should have no feeling for these. One should have feeling. These are the natural objects of affection. These are also given. Children, wife, home is all given by the arrangement of the Lord, right? They are all, but they have to be, one has to try to engage their family also in the devotional service, and that's the true success. That's the duty of parents also, to engage. The duty of husband is to engage wife and children, and duty of husband and wife together is to engage children in the spiritual progress. At least try. If they take it up or not take it up, that's their karma, but at least parents have this responsibility to try. For example, parents have responsibility to have food for their children, have schooling for their children, have material means, right? It's responsibility. Similarly, parents also have responsibility to make the environment favorable for their children to progress in spiritual path. Because you are bringing a soul in the material world. Now, if you can end the suffering of that soul by introducing him to the spiritual path, that's the best you can do for that soul, right? So as for detachment, this is naturally everyone has to have affection. What exactly it means when it says detachment from children, wife, and home is, Prabhupada writes, if the children, wife, and home are not favorable to spiritual progress, then one should not be attached to them. But that doesn't mean one should leave them. One should then still pursue their family duties as a matter of duty. But one should not be too attached to them. Right? That is what it means. And then Prabhupada writes, best process for making the home pleasant is Krishna consciousness. If one is in full Krishna consciousness, he can make his home very happy, because this process is very easy. Right? Just before this, we can every day just for 30 minutes, just sit with your family, discuss something about Krishna, discuss something about one story Krishna from Krishna book, maybe perform some kirtan, do something on this devotional service. That's it. Very easy. It doesn't require so much knowledge to acquire. Even 4-year-old, 5-year-old children can also sit and appreciate. Everyone likes to sing and dance and music and all. Everyone gets attracted. The moment you do any of that, that is what is required. Children automatically becomes engaged. Okay. So Prabhupada writes that 4 things Prabhupada writes: chanting Hare Krishna mantra, accepting the remnants of foodstuff offered to Krishna, have some discussion on books like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and engage oneself in deity worship. These 4 things makes one happy. And one should train the members of family in this way. Family members can sit down morning or evening and chant together Hare Krishna mantra. If one can mold his family life in this way to develop Krishna consciousness, following these 4 principles, there is no need to change from family to renounced order. Right? But if family life is kind of a hindrance to progress this path, then one should not be too attached to the family life. Then one should focus on the spiritual advancement and still be there in family life, fulfill the prescribed duties. One should not run away, but one should not be at the same time too attached. Okay, so that's about detachment part. Other part is, let's go next one. Even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events. Very important. Like if one can remain equipoised in pleasant and unpleasant circumstances, in happiness and distress, that way one can always remain focused on his goal of devotional service. Because as I mentioned, happiness, distress are part and parcel of material life. So one should learn to tolerate them. So as no one asks for distress to come, but it comes automatically, same way, happiness also will come automatically. So one should not be too much concerned about happiness and distress in one's life, right? And when Prabhupada says, one can never restrict the coming and going of happiness and distress. This is not in our hand. Okay? So one should be detached from the materialistic way of life and be automatically equipoised in both cases. Generally, when we get something desirable, we are very happy. Something good happens in life, oh, we are on cloud 9, like we are elated, or this, that, big party, all that thing. But when we get something undesirable, we have become too distressed. Sometimes people go in depression also if something happens. But why you have to understand, these are all part and parcel of life. One should not become too elated or too distressed. One should remain equipoised, thinking that at least whatever we are getting, at least there are people in this world who don't even are getting the 2 meals also. So we should be grateful to the Lord what He has given to us, not worry about the things which we don't have, remain happy, equipoised. So it says, Prabhupada says, if we are actually in spiritual position, these things will not agitate us. If you are spiritually doing your sadhana means chanting every day, taking part in reading Bhagavad Gita, automatically we get spiritual strength to overcome any adversities in the life. From within you will get that strength, and Krishna will not give you that much distress which one cannot handle. So based on our past karmas, everyone has to suffer or enjoy the results. So that is how this body is made up of. And only thing that is already decided, pre-decided, nobody can change that. Sometimes people go to astrologer and they say, oh, you wear this stone, that stone, you do this puja, that puja. No, whatever has to happen will happen. It's in the hand of Lord Krishna. If he wants, he can reduce it. but nobody else can reduce any material suffering or material enjoyment. So whatever is there, it will happen. But for future, we can improve. With Harinam, devotional service actually burns all the past karmas and results of karma. So Harinam has that power. It can burn everything to ashes gradually. So that's why that is the best medicine. Instead of going to astrologer and wearing this stone, that stone, that doesn't help much, because all they are trying to do is uh, um, like reduce the suffering or reduce this thing. Sometimes people don't have job or some bad health or whatever. They go to easily go fault trap, go to the astrologer. They can't do much there. But if one genuinely prays to Lord Krishna, and then he automatically gets the strength, spiritual strength from Krishna himself to overcome that, right? And then the bad phase will eventually pass, and the good phase comes, and then it's all good. So remaining equipoised in happiness and distress, and knowing this is also part of knowledge. One should know whatever is there in your quota, happiness, distress, you have to enjoy or suffer and can't escape. So practicing devotional service will give you enough strength to remain equipoised and be able to overcome the dukh or the distress part. Okay. Next comes, I think we have 4 more minutes. Aspiring to live in a solitary place. Okay, so what it means is, doesn't mean that you go and live in a jungle or forest and do, no, it doesn't mean. So clearly mentioned here, Prabhupada says just remaining in the association of devotees is good enough. Naturally, when one is adapted to the spiritual way of life, he will not want to mix with materialistic men. That would go against his grain. Okay, so what it means is remaining secluded place, remove the unwanted association from your life. Right? Mataji, Tejal Mataji was saying some people will come and try to harm you, or just, these are all unwanted association. We don't want these people in life. So one may test himself by seeing how far he is inclined to live in a solitude without unwanted association. Naturally, a devotee has no taste for unnecessary sporting or cinema going or enjoying some social function, because he understands these are simply waste of time. There are many research scholars and philosophers who study sex life or other subjects, but according to them, such work is no value. This is more or less nonsensical. One should make research by philosophical discretion in the nature of soul. One should make research on that is recommended. Yeah. Okay, and next comes to making the constant devotion. We already discussed. This is the whole subject matter of Bhakti Yoga, the Bhagavad Gita. Unalloyed devotion to Lord. No business that Lord, please, you give me this, then I will pray and I will worship you, or I will worship you, you please give me. India में होता है ना, like they ask for mannat, so this thing get fulfilled. I will do these much things. I will do this parikrama or that parikrama if this thing gets fulfilled. This is not unalloyed devotion. This is like a, Prabhupada used to say, bargaining with the Lord. Then you fulfill my this desire, this thing wish, and I will come and visit 7 times your temple, or I will fulfill this, or I will do that, or I'll do that, or don't. I think, as I said, need to be content with what we already had. Nobody can take that away from you. So nothing, no need to worry. And just unalloyed devotion means unconditional devotion. Without any condition, I am devoted to you, I am surrendering to you. So I am giving my life to you, like that. That is the unconditional devotion to the Lord. Detachment from general mass of people. This is also important. As I told, we should be detached from general mass of people, not too much mingle. Just काम से काम, like just रखना है, because that is where the problem comes. These in the initial stage, because we are not very spiritually strong, these people can take away from this path. They can influence us, and mostly general mass of people are only interested in what is in it there for them, what is the gain they are getting from a relationship, right? They don't even know about the spiritual aspect. So sometimes they're looking for a material gain, right? Or some social enjoyment, something there. So in general, that's why material relationships don't last longer. Like if the pure basis of relationship is only material, doesn't last much longer. And then what else was there? Accepting the importance of self-realization and philosophical search for absolute truth. So all these are declared to be knowledge, and besides this, whatever there may be is simply an ignorance. So we discussed 20 items now. All this is knowledge. So now we have understood these items. All you have to do is, when the situation comes, think about it, reflect on it, and put it into practice. And practice makes a man perfect. Eventually, it becomes our next, like nature itself, to practice all these aspects, and that takes us closer to Lord Krishna. Okay, so we stop here. If you have any questions, we can discuss. But this is the important subject in this chapter, to know what is the true knowledge, what is the object of knowledge. Anyone has to say anything or questions or comments before we conclude?
Thank you, Prabhu, for explaining all the spiritual knowledge and how we need to act in this material world, right? And how to
Yes,
contemplate on those things and how to progress on
yes,
spiritual life.
correct,
That's
correct.
very good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Good. Then we'll see again next Sunday. We'll discuss. I think this is an important part. Next, we'll discuss chapter 14, which is three modes of material nature. Yeah. How the three modes of material nature affect everyone, and how all the actions, everything is impacted by the three modes. But when we do devotional service, that is goes beyond these three modes. We'll discuss all that in next class. Okay. So thank you so much for coming, and then let's continue. And then next Sunday. Thank you again. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.